Good afternoon. Welcome to today's results learning series. I'm glad that you could join us. Today we're going to talk about the results of the project functionality, and it's really to help manage process improvement projects, strategic initiatives. So let's get started. I just want to introduce myself to those that don't know me. My name is Christine Barker. I go by Chris. For most of you, I'm your results support, main trainer, onboarding, customer service rep. So for today, send questions through the chat. I probably won't have much time to address individual questions, but I would love to engage anyone that would like to have some questions, and I can give you a call after the webinar and we can set up some time. And the session is meant to be short and fast, so let's go ahead and get started. So for those that have been on previous ones, I like to start out with a quote, and there was a couple related to strategic plans that I found that, oh, that was pretty interesting. And it's all about, whoops, my web camera there. There we go. Whoops, I'm sorry, my little go-to menu got in the way there. Tim, you can't see my camera. I'm gonna just do a quick check, correct? All good? Okay. So I'm going to go continue here. Just a couple quotes related to strategic planning. Strategic plannings are great plans, and they often sit on the shelf, and they're very hard to execute. So thought for the day there. Having some technical difficulties. There we go. All right. So the reality of strategic plans. Very few organizations rate themselves excellent on successful execution of initiatives, and only 56 really meet their outcomes and their goals. And you can imagine how much money is spent really when you invest in a plan and you don't achieve your outcomes there. And those are stats from the Project Management Institute. So why such a high failure rate? Well, often on your strategic plans, there's a lot of things in motion. There are too many initiatives, that lack of review to say, related to the initiative, is it really achieving the outcome that we want? Okay. Leaders often fail to adapt their initiatives, and all this really boils down to that poor project management. Okay, really understanding your universe, what's working, what's not, what adjustments do you need to make? Have you over-invested, right? When you have to make those resource allocations, right? How do you serve up the information to leadership, right? Related to your projects and your initiatives? How do you help them be the good sponsors of those projects? So that's where results comes in. Okay, our results project management is not going to replace the project management tools that you're using related day-to-day project management. It's really going to serve up the information so you can make better decisions rather. It's going to provide you with that consistent communication between those doing the work and leadership. It's going to help you really understand the workload of the team. Who has too much on their plate, where to invest your resources. Okay, it's going to establish the clear roles and responsibilities, okay, between the project managers, subject matter experts, sponsors. It's going to help you manage risks so you can elevate them to your senior leadership. Avoid that scope creep. We've all had it, right? The project kicks off and then all of a sudden it's expanding. Okay, it's going to help you manage your deliverables. Most importantly, results is going to help organize the information so you can have regular reviews on your strategic initiatives and your continuous improvement projects. So let's talk about the results engine. Okay, as I mentioned, it's going to give you that executive summary. Okay, so we're not asking you to do all the day in and day out of project management and results. Think about it as that input funnel to create that single source of truth, where it can provide the transparency and the whole portfolio view, okay, across all your teams, all your divisions. It's going to help you communicate progress and help you elevate those roadblocks. that you need sponsors to help clear. Related to your initiatives and your projects, you're going to connect them to goals and metrics. Okay, so project activity is not sitting over to the side versus the desired outcomes. Going to bring those two pieces together. Okay, I'm going to show you how we can create some custom reporting via dashboard visualizations. And the bottom line, though, is about the regular reviews of your initiatives, of your projects. Okay, so results is really going to help serve that up for the people that need to do the reviews. So a few things, some tips and tricks. We're going to go over to results in a few minutes. Okay, but I want to just give you a little overview. And this slide deck's going to go out to you after the webinar so you can have. Okay, so just like results, okay, there's a lot of things related to permissions. Okay, so the whole who can view the information and edit the information. Okay, so admins are those global editors, so they can help support and do the updates to your projects. But really only the people that are assigned to a specific initiative and project can edit it. Everyone else that's the results users can view the information. Okay. The other thing related to your projects is that ability to group and filter and sort projects. So when we are going to go into results and we're going to think about how best to organize your work, your projects and your initiatives. And we're going to show you have a lot of options, right? We're going to be able to sort our projects and initiatives by role, by area of the organization, by goal. Imagine you have 3 strategic goals and you can give your executive leader all the 5 projects for each strategic goal and what the status is on one report every month. They're going to love that. Okay. I'm going to show you how you can use some optional fields and you can create some standard work for it. Okay. So do you want to track your initiatives by maybe the funding source? Okay. You can categorize projects by the level of scope. So maybe you develop, we have a field called the level field. So level 1 projects versus a level 2 versus level 3. Okay. And then we can do a lot with the task code. And we're going to use that to say track key milestones, as well as use that to track risk, right? A little bit of risk management with our initiatives. Okay, so I'm going to cover all that, and I'm going to take us over now to results. Okay. So I'm in my results demo tenant, and I'm on my project landing page, and you can see that I have built out quite a few projects here. Okay, so just to kind of show you a little bit of the functionality. Okay, the top set of fields are all about setting up a new ones, but I want to point out the different filters. Okay, so I can filter by map. So I can go ahead and take a look at different projects related to one area of my organization. I can then go back to all. Okay, so if you think about a large organization, you might have some agency level initiatives, company-wide initiatives, and then division level ones. So that's really helpful. I can go ahead and, since I have created all the projects here, they're all falling on my name, but imagine that you have different project managers, so you can sort there. And then you can go ahead and take a look at, say, maybe perhaps what's the completed work that we've done this last year. Perhaps we want to see anything that has been canceled. Okay, so being able to quickly see all that. And the benefit is when we get into the reporting piece of it, all of these fields are things we can pivot on. I want to point out that since I am at an admin level permission, I have ability to edit all my projects. Okay, so if my counterpart, those that know Mr. Jim Clark, if he were to log in, he would only see the edit buttons on what initiatives and projects that he's assigned to. Okay, so I'm going to drill down. Okay, I'm going to go down and we're going to dig deep into this one here, develop and implement a quality program enhancements. So I'm going to actually go into edit mode so I can go and walk us through the initiatives and through some of the fields. So let's take a look at what are some of the fields that you can take advantage of and how I would recommend you use them. Here's that code field, okay? And for this one, I have created a schema where I am attaching and organizing these particular projects related to my strategic initiatives, okay? And I have a naming schema. So I call this my strategic initiative 6, okay? You can call it goal 1, goals 2. You can say you can create a schema related to funding source. So maybe you have some initiatives that are being funded by federal grants. You can create a code there so that we can then quickly use that field to sort and filter based on the code. Okay. And then I have my name of my project, my initiatives, and then I have a description. Okay. These fields are the foundations of my project. I set them up once and I usually don't have to adjust them. Okay. Then let's dig down, and here are some optional fields. The ranking, okay, we have a ranking field in here. Imagine that you want to rank them related to perhaps the scope of the projects, right? You want to run a report and you have a different ranking criteria versus maybe a project date. So this will help us create some really cool visualizations. Okay, it's an optional field. Then we have our executive sponsor and our project manager field. These are both tied related to results users. So to actually call someone out and actually assign them to that field, they have to be a results user for both the executive sponsor and the project manager. The operational manager is actually a text box. Okay, and we did this on purpose, is that sometimes some of your different managers might be not a results user. So this way, perhaps I can call out my coworker, Jim Clark. So I can say he's part of the performance team and here's his name. Okay, so this is a text box that you can call out multiple areas of your organization. The next two items help you kind of track how many projects you have at what level. So we've given you a couple options. We have the ability to tag it related to a priority level, okay? And we also have a second option related to a level field, okay? The priority level is a required field. So when I set up the project, I need to define one of these. The level field is optional. So some organizations, depending upon what they're trying to track, this is needed and sometimes it's not. So if it was not needed, I would keep it in NA. Then we have options here to track the life cycle of the project. Okay, and we've tried to give you a lot. You can decide whether you need all of these. Okay, we go all the way from intake, okay, all the way to archive, canceled, backlogged. Okay, so backlog, different definitions to organizations on what this could mean. Sometimes, very often, especially imagine this last year, some of your projects get put on hold. So you're not canceling them, but you had to pause them. Okay, so a lot of our clients are using that backlogged as things that are kind of, they're ready to get relaunched. They're currently not active. For archived, we recommend that after a certain point, you want to track, say, your recently completed work, but it's like putting it in the filing cabinet. You want to archive it. Okay, so we recommend every calendar year kind of just filing things away so that it makes your landing page and your visualizations a little bit more tidy. Then we have a start and end date. We also have the ability to track resources, and this is really helpful for strategic initiatives, right? To track bandwidth, right? Allocation of funds, allocations of FTE, also different teams, right? So if one initiative is impacting 3 different teams, they can only digest so much new work. So that's the ability to call that out. Now we go into the relationships, and I think this is one of the really success criteria factors that results can help you with. Being able to tag your initiatives first to an area of your organization. Okay, so often initiatives will touch multiple areas. So I define this one as it's touching my operations team, customer service, finance, and it's part of my strategic plan. Again, I'm going to now later in my reporting be able to filter on this field because of this relationship. Okay, I can also tag one as my priority. So I'm going to tag this one as my strategic plan. So over the top, it's my strategic plan, but it's touching these three parts of my organization. Now I'm going to go into the relationships of the measures. Okay, so we have this initiative, we have this project. Okay, you think about your metrics in a couple ways. Okay, I can tag the actual outcomes, okay, and I've just picked a couple of random ones here, okay, related to hiring and error rate, and this symbol here means if it's an inactive measure, okay. So there's a couple metrics there, okay. I can also create more short-term project metrics, and this is really helpful on those larger scale initiatives. You know, do I want to track a % complete of my project? Okay, do I want to track, say, maybe a confidence rating that this initiative is going to achieve that desired outcome? This is a great way to elevate risk and concerns to senior leadership. Okay, oftentimes with other clients I've seen, we're tracking something like related to scope, budget, risk, schedule. Okay, you can also create a metric related to project hours. So if you want to track related to this project, how many hours, right? Whether it be internal, external, right? There's different options there. You can build those measures and create those relationships. Okay, then we have an optional field here, an area where you can load files. Okay, so if you have like a charter or an A3, just puts all the information in one location. So if I am not on the project, I can only view the file. I'm not allowed to edit it or upload a new version. Then we establish the relationships to goals. So I knew what part of the organization it was in. Now I can understand what goal it is, hopefully moving the dial on. Okay, so this is related to the organizational expertise. I move down and I see who's on my team, right? And those are the individuals that can that are contributing work. Okay, and can make edits to this area in results. Now becomes that monthly check-in. So this is the field that's going to provide that senior level monthly check-in about the health of this project and this initiative. So we have two areas, okay, think about. You can update the overall status of the project, okay? So I can denote whether I'm ahead plan, on plan, behind plan, or whether it's something got paused with the date, okay? And then I can see my previous entries here, okay? So I could do it monthly, I could do it weekly, I could do it quarterly. You would establish the approach that works best for your organization on what you would like to see. Okay, so that's about the overall kind of progress of my initiative. Now I'm going to come down to task. Okay, so while it says task, it's your choice on what elevation you want to track. What I recommend is that we're tracking just the key milestones and deliverables. Okay, so again, here's that code, name, and I assign it to someone on the team, start and due date. Now, what's helpful is that you on the code field is that you can develop a standardized approach to it. Okay, so I can say, for instance, if I look down at my list, I've developed a schema. I'm tracking this. This is all related to Strategic Initiative 6. Okay, and I did just a task code. I can call it a milestone. So I have task 6, 5, 1, 3, 2, and 4. And I can sort by my status code or due date. The other option, though, is that you can commingle. So those were related to my key milestones. I've also created the option of tracking my risk by just naming my code as a risk. Okay. And now we're going to see when I go to the visualization why that's really, really helpful. So after I go ahead and create it, okay, I'm going to have my start and my due dates, and then I can go ahead and update them. So for instance, if I have an update to my risk, I would simply come into edit. I would put in some notes, and then I move it through the funnel. Am I currently managing that risk? Yes, I am. And I could put a status here, and then I hit add. Okay, and now I'm going to go back over to my area, my projects, and then I would do any additional updates. So related to the task, we've also made it really helpful. So imagine I am a results user and I'm contributing work to a strategic initiative. Okay, I can come into my project space, and that's where I am, or I can go into my data. So just to point this out, that we have two tabs under my data. I have my measure tab, and my tasks tab. So when I go into my tasks tab, I can see all the different projects, okay, project name, okay, down here, and then all my task names. So you can see here the different variations that I've done to some cool tracking, and we're going to see in visualizations. So I've developed here is that strategic initiative 6, but then I have an agenda item number 8 that I have an action item on, and then I have different concerns and risks. So this field is really flexible, and it's going to allow us to do some really neat things. So I could come up into results, I can go into my project space, or I can go into my data to get my task updated. So I keep mentioning the visualization. So the final piece is related to the visualizations, okay, that reporting. So results, we can help you do reporting in a couple different ways. All this information is feeding into our database. We can export it into an Excel sheet, a flat file in Excel, where you can then do some custom Excel tracking sheets, or we can attach and build you some Power BI dashboards. So I'm going to walk you through some examples, okay? So all of this that I'm going to show you is just based on various different projects, all those projects that were on that project landing page, okay? But based on different filters, I decided what's going to show up on each tab. So my first tab is a summary view of my portfolio, okay? I can see how many projects I have, how many are high priority, due dates, you know, and I decide what's going to be called out. I can see how many are on plan, behind plan, okay? And then I can filter on different areas of the different visualizations and actually see which of those two are, okay? I can see those project metrics that I talked about, okay? And I can quickly scan and see which ones are in red, which ones are yellow and green, okay? And then I can quickly do some drill downs under project schedule. And if I wanted to say which one is behind plan, not sure if I have yet, which ones are behind plan, I can drill down my visualization and take a look at those 3 that are. There's different methodologies that we can apply to help you figure out percent complete. So anything that's related to a milestone, we can build different calculations to help you show what percent complete is this initiative. All this information, you go in there, say once a month, update your projects, and your dashboards will refresh. So that's the board, but let's drill down, right? So as a senior level leader, that's really helpful. Now I want to dig into a project. So I go to my next tab, okay? And I can then understand, okay, here's this project, here's what goal it's related to. I can not only see the metric of my project health, scope, risk, but now I can see those comments, and that's really helpful. So if something's in red, of course I want to understand why. I can see a quick little list of all my tasks, which ones are completed and which ones are active. And then I see those over here in the lower left, those very helpful project summary notes. So that's kind of current state. But what if I want to look at the historical view of my project and how are we doing? Okay, so these 2 tabs are synced. So once I click on one project, I can take and look at the historical journey of this initiative, right? And I can see that we're really struggling on budget and scope. Okay, we were a little behind on schedule, a little better here, right? So I can really understand, right? And I can hover over the bars and see the comments as well. My last tab, okay, and I have some more ones to show after this, is just say if I have 4 strategic goals, getting a quick snapshot here. Based on goal, what is the status of the different bodies of work underway? What's behind plan, on plan, right? What's active, what's completed, okay? And then being able to drill down in different filters up here, okay? I have a few more goodies to show you. I'm gonna go over to my second one. Imagine a heat map related to your initiatives. Right? So you're doing a monthly check-in on your strategic plan or all your process improvements, right? And the metrics related to that, right? Just getting that quick status without a drill down. So now though, I want to go, this is a different visualization, right? Different choice points of understanding particular initiative. So in the previous example, I focused on the health metrics of the projects, okay? Here I just went ahead and went directly to the little charts. But now I'm tracking, I've made a choice point for these initiatives. What's more important is to track that resource field. So I have that there. And now I called out my project notes. So I took that same information and made a different arrangement on it. I'm going to show you one more, drilling down into a specific project. Here, okay, this initiative has the same types of call outs on the side and on the bottom, but these ones needed some additional metrics where we wanted a call out of a specific outcome. Okay, so lots of different choice points here. Okay, now we're going to go over to the next one and show you. This one is when I talked about the tracking the project hours. So on this particular project, I have 3 key individuals, and we want to track how much resources is going to the management of this. Okay, so the ability to do visualizations there. See the current suite of work versus things that are not started. So different ways of structuring the data to help the reader understand it. Most importantly, related to an initiative, being able to flag and elevate risk and concerns. That's the role of your sponsor and senior leadership, right? To help get those initiatives back on track and get an easy way to communicate those. So being able to get, being able to quickly load it into results and have it appear on the dashboard the same day for your leadership to review. But then possibly you want to take a look at a Gantt chart. Again, so all that information, just imagine that as my form, my intake and results, and creating these reports for you. Being able to take a look at a specific goal and understand which ones are on track and which ones behind. Okay, and being able to filter and quickly go over to the next goal. Having all this information at your fingertips. And my final visualization is just that master list, right? So if on our strategic plan, we're trying to decide, is it time to launch a new body of work, being able to see how many things we have underway, is one sponsor in particular carrying too much of the work, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at how much Kevin is managing right now and make some decision points if Kevin has the bandwidth to start a new initiative. Okay, so these are some examples of some visualizations. So 2 options, just to recap, I'm going to go back over to my slide deck, is that you can do a flat file via Excel and create your own visualizations. You can connect to the data warehouse if you have Power BI people in-house, or you can ask Mass Ingenuity to use some of the library templates I've shown you. All great work, great options to help get your strategic plan and your process improvement underway and get the results you need. So that's the end of our webinar today. I appreciate everyone joining. Like I said, I'm going to send out the slide deck. It's going to have little images of all those visualizations you had. Also happy to engage you to help you design your approach of how you can use the project engine to help you meet your needs on your initiatives and your projects. Thanks for joining us today.